Welcome back to Matt's Menagerie. So today we have a little bit of a throwback. I mentioned in one of the other, I believe it was one of the Bowman Blaster videos, that I had a box on the way of 1996 Donruss. It is a Series 2 box. Gotta cover up the addresses on here just to show you. The everything kind of got a little faded on there, so it actually took a couple extra days for it to actually get to me. I'm actually gonna open the packaging off camera just because I don't want to give away my address or the seller's address. Here, just wanted to show how faded that shipping label got. I don't think I've seen one get quite that faded. This is a little tougher than my my little blade here. Have to rip into it a little bit here. Pull this out of here. There we go. So there we go. Sealed box of 1996 Series 2 Donruss. So with anything this era, at mid-90s, probably early into the 2000s, we do stand the risk of the cards bricking up, but hopefully we don't get too much paper loss, if any at all. It all depends on how the box has been stored since 1996. So let's get into this. So we got a few different inserts. This is actually a retail box. So, I mean, nowadays there's a big difference between hobby and retail. Back then, not quite as much. They tended to put exclusive inserts into both, and a lot of the inserts were might not be too bad. A lot of the inserts were actually available in both hobby and retail. So we got the good old Diamond Kings, which are 1 out of 10 packs. The Elite Series, which are 1 out of 40 packs. Got Hit List, which is 1 out of 60 packs. Those three inserts are serial numbered out of 10,000, which was actually pretty low for back in 96. And then we have Freeze Frame, which are also 1 out of 60 packs, and Pure Power, which are 1 out of 80 packs. Those are both numbered to 5,000. And there were, both in Series 1 and Series 2, there were 100 super packs in each series, which contained the full 12 card set of the Elite Series. So that would be kind of cool to pull. Then we only have one parallel in this. That's the press proofs, which are 1 out of 10 packs, and a stated print run of only 2,000 on those. So let's get into this. Try to make a little room here. Just kind of go like that. So let's see what we get here. We got the packs are just gonna shred a little on me here. Hopefully they're not too. Okay, we got a little bit of bricking. Not seeing any paper loss, so that's pretty good. That's You should expect a little on a older product like this. So this might take a little longer than I intended. So let's see what we got. Carlos Delgado, Mike Matheny. I'm gonna try to skip through some of the lower names and just try to focus on some of the stars and the inserts, parallels. Benny Santiago, Chris Gomez, Jose. Keep an eye on what I'm doing here too. Jose Rio, Paul Wagner, Mike Kingery, Phil Nevin. So no inserts or parallels yet. Let's see what we pack number 2. I previously had mentioned also that I was planning on going back and trying to finish off some old sets that I had started building when I was a kid. Back around this time, 96 was one of the big years that I tried to, collect everything as a 14-year-old. There's Bobby Witt Sr., who's a decent pitcher back then. His son has turned out to be quite the superstar so far. Darren Dalton. Of course, the cards are going every which way, which makes it a lot more difficult as well. Looks like we got our first press proof coming up here. Got Rick Wilkins. So hoping for a big name when it comes to any of the parallels or the inserts. Most of the inserts should have decent, these guys who were stars at the time. Rick Wilkins, not so much, but maybe there's somebody out there looking for that still collects him. Maybe there's the back of the card as well. So the press proof, the foil at the bottom middle is gold, and you got the word gold in gold press proof there. And see if I can get it to focus. There it says one of 2000 printed, and you'll notice that the on the back, the numbering and the bar at the bottom are also in gold. But since it's a parallel, we will leave it up as normal. So I was trying to make some extra space on the phone because I just got way too much stuff on there at the moment. So I was like, okay, I think I cleared off enough space, and then cards are a little sticky. Tony Gwynn on the checklist. And the packs don't like to rip very nice. Bob Tewksbury was around for a very long time. He used to, one point he actually pitched for the Twins later on in his career, and me and my buddies would actually go get our seats right next to the bullpen back when they were in fall territory, and we would actually sit and talk with him. He was actually a really cool guy. Hall of Famer Edgar Martinez there. That's our first Hall of Famer. Carefully get these apart. Mike Messina, another Hall of Famer. Chuck Knobloch, who we don't like to talk about in Minnesota. Greg Gagne, a World Series hero with the Twins. Got another checklist here. Wade Boggs, another Hall of Famer. A little bit of, looks like a little paper loss on the Boggs checklist. Marvin Bernard, Baroa, and Michael Tucker. it has been a long, very long time since I have opened any of this product. Paul Quantrill, Pat Henkin, Jack McDowell, George Williams, Chad OJ, Paul Wagner, Jack McDowell again, Tim Salmon, and Rich Amaral. So I guess it was 2025 Top Series 1. They had a Tim Salmon and Mike Trout dual auto. So that was about time somebody did that. I mean, I had the idea many years ago that they should do that, because that would just be a cool collectible card to add to any collection, especially if you're a baseball fan and a fisherman. There we go, Derek Jeter, very young captain. Of course, it says rated rookie on it, but obviously his actual rookies are in '93. But he was still considered a rookie at that time. If I remember, '96 he was Rookie of the Year. Mark Newfield, Pete Harnish, Viagra, John Olerud, there's Tewksbury again, and Alex Fernandez. So we've gotten a handful of stars. We haven't seen some of the too many names yet. We got a few Hall of Famers. John Smoltz, another Hall of Famer. Fred McGriff, more recent Hall of Famer. Gotta carefully get these apart. Greg Gagne. So a lot of these, of course, collation back then was not what it is now. So you'll end up seeing sometimes the same card multiple times in a box, or even sometimes multiple times in a pack. Troy Percival, Roger Cedeno. Some of these names I have not heard in a long time. There we go. There is a Barry Bonds hit list. Let's see. There we go. I don't see any paper loss on that at all. So, I said those are serial numbered out of 10,000. We got number 7357 out of 10,000. Get that sleeved up in a moment. We got Neon Dion, or Coach Prime as he's known now, and Jamie Brewington. I'm hoping that at least some of the inserts, even if we don't get any big names on the parallels, get all kinds of card dust here. But hopefully, at least on the inserts, we can get some big names. So those hit lists are 1 out of every 60 packs. And I would feel pretty safe to assume that Bonds is probably the biggest name on that list. I know he's actually recently become a little more collectible. I know some of the value on some of his cards from his playing days have actually gone up. Of course, let's see what we got. Marty Cordova on that. He was actually the 95 Rookie of the Year for the Twins. There's Nixon, Jose Rio. Some of these are sticking a little worse than others, but I'd say overall better than I was hoping for. Mike Cameron, his son played for a little while. Daz Cameron, not too sure whatever happened with him. Chris Snopek, Dave Burba, Erga again. Juan Guzman, Roberto Kelly. Okay, I think that's what the third or fourth Tewksbury we've seen so far. Hook. Unless you were paying really close attention to baseball in 1996, you probably won't, especially for a lot of the younger kids out there, you probably won't recognize most of these names. But for us older collectors, probably a little trip down memory lane. You know, it definitely is for me. Slammin' Sammy right there, Sammy Sosa. We got Randy Johnson, our Hall of Famer. John Olerud, who's a good player back in the day. Chipper Jones, another Hall of Famer. Tim Raines, another Hall of Famer. Tim Wakefield, probably the greatest knuckleballer ever, who actually passed away just, what was that, last year? Let's go to the other side of the stack here. Matt Williams, who is third base coach for the Giants nowadays. Greg Jeffries. You know, that one, I don't know how well you can see it on here, but there is a ton of paper loss on that particular card. Most I've seen on any of these. Kevin Brown is a big name in the late 90s there. Phil Nevin, Kent Merker, Todd Hollingsworth, one of 3 or 4 rookies of the year that the Dodgers had in a row. Carlos Garcia, Ricky Vitalico, Tony Clark, who is the head of the MLB Players Union, and Benny Santiago. So this side of the box seems to be a little more bricked up than the other side did. So hopefully it was just that pack. Oh, there's Wade Boggs again. I think we had the checklist before. Offerman, Stan Belinda. Most of these are coming apart pretty easily. Paul O'Neill. There's LaTroy Hawkins. That guy had a very, very long career. Actually been doing some TV and for the Twins nowadays. Henneman, Jose Valentin, Vince Coleman, one of the great base stealers. Try to get these apart as careful as I can. Darren Dalton, Jose Parra. Oh, like I said, I think this is actually taking a little more time than I thought it would, just because of the packs being difficult to open and the breaking up on some of these. There's Roger Clemens, who his son Cody is actually playing for the Twins right now, and seems like his dad has been following him around, watching him play. So got Chipper, David Wells, Chan-Ho Park, wasn't him and Hideo Nomo. I mean, they weren't the first Asian. I mean, Park being Korean and Nomo being Japanese. They weren't the first Asian players to come over, but they were probably the first couple to actually find success. Long before Ohtani. Got Carlos Delgado, who many think should be in the Hall of Fame. He was definitely a force. Got Roger Cedeno, another press proof there. Shane Reynolds, Jeff Fry, and get that sleeved up. Well, as usual, I mean, if you see anything you like in here, typically, most of anything Twins probably will end up in my PC, and then anything I deem sellable, inserts, parallels, Hall of Famers, any guys who are superstars at the time will end up in the store. Of course, I'll double check to make sure there's nothing with too much paper loss. And then anything else that's left will go into a commons list. So if you're ever trying to finish off a set from any era, I more than likely have a listing for that. So Tony Gwynn, Tim Raines, a couple more Hall of Famers in this one here. Von Rodriguez. That's 3 Hall of Famers in one pack. So Vizcaíno. We're getting a little more sticky here. And Jim Thome, another Hall of Famer. 4 Hall of Famers in one pack. Alright, looks like I only got a couple minutes left here. I might have to try to splice these together. Or just make a 2-part video, because we're close to halfway done. There's Pedro Martinez. Looks like we do have another insert coming up here. But one good thing is a lot of times the inserts or the parallels too, and some of the stuff, even if the packs are bricked up like that, they will not be the inserts won't be bricked up as well, with some, depending on how they were, the finish on the cards. So we got a Griffey checklist. Alex Fernandez, another Wade Boggs. So we're getting a decent amount of Hall of Famers here, so that's pretty nice. And a Tony Gwynn checklist. And let's see, we have Greg Maddux freeze frame. Now these, let me get the last couple here. Another Jeter. So these, I actually don't think I have ever pulled one of these before. I don't remember these from back then. Hit list ones. Actually, I think I might have actually pulled that Bonds when I was a teenager. But we got freeze frame Greg Maddux, number 2203 out of 5,000. Have a nice looking card. Get that sleeved up. So we got a couple inserts, couple parallels. So far we're almost halfway through. About 4 packs short of halfway through. So I think I'm gonna, got about probably just a few seconds left before this thing cuts off. So I'm going to stop it here, start up again, and then splice them together. So everything should be just the way you see it when I come back.